Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ashok Patel, and I am the product planner for VMware Solutions on the Dell PowerEdge. And so today, what I'm going to walk you through is hybrid cloud with AWS, VMware Cloud Foundation on PowerEdge MX. Our MX is a brand new infrastructure that we launched towards the end of the year last year. And so I'll walk you through what some of the capabilities that this particular infrastructure offers with the VCF. So to start off, virtualization has been around for many years, specifically in the compute realm, and VMware came out with vSAN, and so they implemented the storage virtualization, and then now with the VMware Cloud Foundation, not only they extended that to the networking as well, virtualizing the network infrastructure as well, and so. With our PowerEdge servers, we have a validated design specifically to run VMware Cloud Foundation. And the reason why customers want to run the VMware Cloud Foundation is this Cloud Foundation allows the customers to run workloads not only within their data centers, but also onto the AWS cloud as well. So the idea here is, if you have like workloads that are elastic or dynamic, think about retail shops. Think about like, for example, retail shops, starting from Thanksgiving on to Christmas, where there's a tremendous amount of increase in the workload. You can't just go and add additional infrastructure right on the fly to address some of these business challenges. So what this VCF allows the customer to do is burst their workload over to the cloud. And so the infrastructure that we have today is based on software-defined infrastructure. You can automate certain things, and it is validated design. We have a set of firmware, set of drivers, set of components that are specific that has to be configured together in order to get the solution working correctly. So just to talk about one of the things that we have in the validated design. So there's VMware has it's a test suite called VMware vSAN certification process. So all of our components that we have, the controllers, the drives, the SSDs, the networking components go through this configuration that is, running through the certification process prior to us claiming it as a validated design. And so that is one of the key things that we bring to the table. We want to make sure that the infrastructure is reliable, as well as it's running very smooth for the customers. We also have another management tool that we offer with our products. And this product is called Open Manage Integration for VMware vCenter. And this is a product that allows the customers to not only deploy, monitor, manage, as well as doing firmware updates on the infrastructure itself. So, to make things easier, we have some tools within the product offering that make the lives of the IT administrator extremely easier to operate in this solution. And then, of course, one of the other key components is that there is a security element into this as well. So as I mentioned, the VMware Cloud Foundation is a bundle of various products. It includes vSphere, it includes vSAN, it also includes NSX, and then it's wrapped around through what's called SDDC, or Software Defined Data Center Manager. And so that's the complete package that we bring to the table with the PowerEdge solution here. Okay, and then so now what I want to talk about is, I talked a little bit about the infrastructure. I'll tell you, one of the things that we also offer our customers is that when they start deploying their infrastructure, there may be some cases where they've over-provisioned the storage or under-provisioned the storage, and now they need the ability to add additional, storage components to it. And so we have a composable storage infrastructure within the VMware Cloud Foundation, and this allows the customers to add, storage devices without impacting their existing infrastructure. And then just a little bit into the PowerEdge MX architecture. So in the PowerEdge MX, what we have is we have a 7U chassis that has a common cooling, common power that can address 8 2-socket nodes, or you can add up to 4 4-socket nodes, and then you can do a mix and match as well. But this really fits perfectly for VMware Cloud Foundation because there are 4 nodes that are required specifically for the workload domain, and then there's 4 nodes that are required for the management domain. And then there's also integrated switches as well. So as I mentioned, the validated design, the networking switches that go in the back are certainly part of the validated design as well. And so this really gives the customers like a safe, space saving, everything inside the box. They can run the Cloud Foundation directly within this box itself. And then from a networking standpoint, you can go up to two networking switches, and depending on the bandwidth requirements that you may have, there's a wide variety of networking controllers, and then the switches that are in the back as well. And one of the other things that I want to bring out is that if a customer wants to collapse the workload domain and the management domain and run it only on the 4 nodes, we do offer that capability, but the first thing that we have to do is analyze the workload and make sure that the workload does not impact either the management domain or does not impact your workload domain. You don't want to overburden the 4 nodes if you choose to collapse the two infrastructure. So that's one of the key things that we would analyze ahead of time to make sure that the workload is being addressed by the nodes. And so that's pretty much it. But before we end the session, I want to ask a couple of questions to you guys, mainly in the journey to the cloud. And I want to understand exactly how many what percentage of you guys are running on the cloud and running versus running on the premises itself. Like, is it a 75-25? What are your plans? Do you guys have any feedback?
Probably 90% on the cloud right now. 90% on the cloud and 10% on-prem.
Okay.
100% on the cloud. 100% on the cloud, but I'd like to go back to
Okay. So one of the things here that I just presented, which was the 2 slides back, really this is, there are some customers that want the data within their data center, or they may have some applications that they want to be able to run within their data center and not burst it to the cloud. And so this is really, the solution here allows them to, gradually migrate. So anybody who is, they have a data center and they want to gradually migrate over to AWS, you're able to do that within the solution set. So it's, if you're already like, 90% or 100% into AWS, then this is sort of an afterthought, right? So this is really just a journey over to the AWS cloud. Are there any questions specifically that you guys have?
Could you use it for offline applications, third world type situations where the internet just doesn't exist, and intermittent connectivity?
You can certainly. So that's the beauty of this solution, is that you can burst, and then you can bring it back, depending on your depending on the if you want to manage your cost even better, right? Like, for example, if let's say you're running your VDIs directly off of the cloud, and you want to manage your cost and lower that cost and bring it back in-house, you would be able to move the virtual machines back and forth, depending on how you want to control your costs.
Thanks.
So are there any other questions or comments that you guys have unclear about what this offering is and how to go about either even experimenting with it? Like I said, I think the key is to remember that one of the things that we have is it's a validated design. So you start off with VMware compatibility guide from a solution standpoint. You determine what your workload is. We have tools that allow you to identify your workload profile, and then from there we can make determination. Like, okay, we can recommend here's the hardware that would fit into your environment, and we can make recommendations in terms of, do you want to over provision slightly, or do you want to stay within that workload profile? And then based on that, we can give you a recommendation on the capacity storage tier. You can also do, one of the beautiful things about this is you can also scale up. You can scale within the, rack to rack as well. You don't necessarily have to have everything within the one infrastructure. So if you wanted to have like redundancy even in the infrastructure, even in the chassis standpoint, you can cluster within multiple chassis as well. So there's a lot of flexibility that you have. It just depends on what exactly your profile looks like from a capacity, caching, workload, and what your requirements are from a redundancy standpoint before we go and implement this particular solution. Okay. All right. If there's no questions, I appreciate the quick discussion here on this on the solution that we have for VMware Cloud Foundation on our PowerEdge servers. Thank you very much.